multiple meetings that overlap one another. And so we're going to take testimony on a couple of bills, but we won't be taking any votes until we actually have quorum. So, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell, here. Senator Deneen, here. Senator Douglas, Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Givens, Senator Neal, Senator Nemes, Senator Webb, Vice Chair Bledsoe, here. Chair McDaniel.
Here. All right, very well. Obviously, like I said, we don't have a quorum, but we can take testimony without it and then vote when we do get it. I want to start with House Bill 323 from Representative Fraser Gordon. If you want to come on up, ma'am, and if everybody who sits at the table, please identify yourselves for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Chairman and members. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm Deanna Fraser Gordon, Representative Madison County, District 81. I do have two guests. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Joe Bear, President of Kentucky Professional Firefighters.
I'm Jeff Taylor, Legislative Affairs Director for Kentucky Professional Firefighters.
Very well. Go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Thank you for hearing this bill today. Firefighters have a 9% greater risk of developing cancer and a 14% higher rate of mortality once diagnosed. Since 2016, 70% of all in-line duty deaths are attributed to occupational cancer. Firefighters currently have a Firefighter Foundation Program Fund, and House Bill 323 would simply allow reimbursement of cancer screenings as approved use of these funds. The Firefighter Commission would be tasked with determining the policies and procedures and administering the reimbursement. And the Kentucky Association of Counties and the Kentucky League of Cities are not opposed to the bill.
Very well. Joe?
First of all, I'd like to thank Chairman and the members of the committee for considering this bill. Just to elaborate a little bit more on this, this bill is supported by all fire service organizations in the state. Along with the KPFF, the KFA, and the Kentucky Chiefs support this bill. And we are here to answer any questions, should you have any.
All right. Mr. Taylor, anything to add? All right,
very
good.
Joe covered it.
So I think for the purposes of this committee, we have multiple funds that deal with incentives for police and fire around the Commonwealth. On the police side, they have the CLEP fund, and on the fire side they have the CLEF fund that pays for a number of various things, incentives, hepatitis testing, 4 or 5 others that's sitting there. My brain's not pulling them forward right now. This simply would take those restricted funds, which are based off of an insurance premium tax, and allow you guys to utilize for those. We actually have some other areas inside of there that we regularly, for years, have appropriated to that simply are unutilized. Probably work on a bit of a reallocation there that will make this fairly neutral inside of that fund, but still the balance continues to grow in a fairly healthy manner. And I think that the fund itself is in pretty good shape at this point. So, all right. We still need one more member to be able to begin to vote. So I'm just going to ask you guys, if you wouldn't care, just step off to the side there. I will bring Representative Banta up at this point, and we'll hear testimony on House Bill 68.
Good morning, Senators. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity for the 4th year in a row. So, not salty, just kidding. I'm here with Sarah Coleman, the Executive Director of the Horse Council, who is going to just come after me. It's very simple. We would just like to allow license plates, that's special license plates, to also be put on RVs, okay? Step 1. Step 2, we're bringing some of the optional charges for those plates, like the Horse Council, autism, veterans. All those will come to a price. We're going to raise it a little bit. I believe it's $5, and they're all going to be even, so that when you renew them and everything, that money goes into those charities. It's completely optional. You don't have to drive around with the Horse Council, but it's kind of it's helping out the charities. And I'll let Sarah talk.
So thank you all very much for letting me come in and chat with you guys today. I just wanted to tell you really quickly what the additional funding would mean to the Kentucky Horse Council. So what we're best known for, we are a charity we encompass all sorts of riders and horse owners and equine enthusiasts within the Commonwealth. And what we are best known for are what we consider our welfare programs. So we have a program called the Save Our Horses Fund, and we administer additional funding to horse owners in need. So if someone loses their job or they have a medical incident or heaven forbid, they lose their place, we're able to provide a small stipend for feed and hay assistance. We can also provide a stipend for euthanasia assistance if they have an older horse or one who's unwell that they cannot financially afford to put down. And we also provide castration assistance so that we don't have lots of little foals running around that are not necessarily wanted. So we have seen a rise since January of this year. I came into this role in October of 2020, and we've had a massive increase in feed and hay assistance needs, exponentially, more than the Horse Council has ever had in its history. And the additional funding from this plate would allow us to help even more Kentucky horse owners and Kentucky horses in the Commonwealth to ensure that they do not end up in a potentially perilous situation that would require any kind of intervention. So I appreciate you all for letting me come in and chat with you, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions.
And I could have brought in every other nonprofit to come and tell you the same kind of story, but I value your time, and that is it for us.
Very well. Senator Boswell.
Thank you. Good morning. Just one question. So the fees that come in from these license plates, the additional part goes to your organization, but the basic part still goes to the state.
Correct.
I thought so. I want to make sure. That's all.
Good question.
Wasting a little time here.
And these are all, so basically you're not expanding the number of specialized plates at all. You're
No, sir.
making uniformity amongst the fees, and you're allowing the specialty plates to also be placed on recreational vehicles.
Correct.
And that is the extent of the bill.
That's it.
All right. Any other questions or comments from this committee? No? All right. Very well. If you
We'll
want to
step back. Thank
go
you
ahead
very
and
much.
step on back, that would be great. Okay. At this point, we will go ahead and, Chief, I know you guys have to have things to get to, but we're not going to be voting just yet. So if you don't care, I'm going to take the revenue bill. That'll eat up a bit of space here, and then hopefully we can get to yours. Are you going to want to testify on yours? Okay, very well. If you don't care, then we'll jump in the revenue bill next. All right. Good deal. Okay, so next we're going to take up House Bill 8. I'm going to speak to the committee sub. Obviously, we cannot adopt the committee sub absent a quorum at this point in time. But by Constitution, the Commonwealth of Kentucky cannot place appropriations and revenue-raising measures inside of the same bill. And so each year when we pass the budget bills, we also have to pass the revenue bill to accompany that bill as a separate and distinct piece of legislation. So I want to speak just briefly to some of the high points of the bill itself, and then gladly entertain any questions at that point. So if you look in the committee, this will all be to the committee substitutes. In sections 5, 6, 7, and 8, we deal with pari-mutuel tax distribution. This language is an extension of what we did in House Bill 607 approximately 2 years ago, and it does allow up to $250,000 per fiscal year to the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission for the benefit of thoroughbred, standardbred, and American quarter horse aftercare facilities. Also $250,000 to the Kentucky Equine Management Internship Program, and it includes Bluegrass Community and Technical College in the distribution of the pari-mutuel tax revenues. It also allows multiple day international harness racing events with purses and awards over $5 million. We increased the de minimis filing threshold for certain services from $6,000 to $12,000 in Section 10 of the bill. In Section 11 and 12, we create a tax credit for the sales and use tax paid on qualified broadband investment under the heading of income taxes and the LLET tax. In Sections 18, 19, and 20, The fee is removed from hybrid vehicles that do not have a plug-in charging capability. You'll recall, as part of our ongoing attempt to figure out the appropriate taxation structure for electric vehicles, we have continued to make minor tweaks, and this was one that we felt was, I believe the House did, and we concurred with as a matter of fairness for hybrid vehicles. Sections 22 through 27 are what was previously in House Bill 122 from Representative Flannery, dealing with administrative writings, basically that opinions that the Finance Cabinet would put out would be published on the website in a timely manner. Sections 28 and 29 deal with a decision on the nature of taxation on pipelines and amends the definition of real property to include mains, pipes, pipelines, and conduits used in the collection, transmission, distribution, conducting, sale, or furnishing of heat, steam, water, sewage, natural or manufactured gas, or electricity to or for the public. Section 30 deals with an odd nuance in bad debt deductions related to rental cars, allowing the charge-off for income tax purposes. Section 31 deals with an odd situation in just a very few number of districts that, while the reduction in income tax by and large for citizens across the Commonwealth has been very, very beneficial, has had a negative impact in certain TIF districts, and this corrects the negative impact that otherwise has occurred in that handful of districts related to the reduction in the income tax. Section 35 deals with the Child Victims Trust Fund, requiring the Transportation Cabinet to identify the cost of issuing the special license plate and transfer revenues received in excess of the cost to the Child Victims Fund. Section 37, this relates to the provision of transportation services by ride-sharing companies and the definitions of gross receipts as well as license fees in there. Section 37 establishes a fee related to the film income tax credit, so that we can establish an office to better process those income tax credits in the future. Sections 38 and 39 deal with Medicaid reimbursement rates outside of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Currently, we have hospitals that are providing high-quality care for the children of the Commonwealth at a dramatically reduced rate, and this, while not bringing them on parity of what they would be paid inside of the Commonwealth, does establish a slight increase in that fee. Section 45, and I just want to highlight this because it was a transfer, I believe, from the budget bill, if I'm not mistaken, allows for the Kentucky State Police to bill event sponsors for non-state operated events for their security services. And other than that, we did eliminate the gold and bullion exemption that otherwise had been in this bill. And that is the entirety of the Senate committee substitutes on House Bill 8. All right. Lastly, we will run through House Bill 264. Senator Boswell, yes.
Could you elaborate again about the gold exemption?
Yes.
So we've already not exempted gold. Are we making a change on it?
Currently, gold and bullion is not exempt from the sales tax in the Commonwealth. The original House Bill 8 had a gold and bullion exemption, but that exemption does not exist inside of this piece of legislation. We do not, no. So, all right. At this point in time, I believe we do have a quorum. And since I just finished testifying on the committee substitute to House Bill 264, I would like to entertain a motion to adopt the committee substitute to House Bill 264. House Bill 8, that's right. I'm sorry. I pulled 264 in front of me there. All right. By Senator Bledsoe, second by Senator Boswell. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The opposed, like sign. The ayes have it. I'd like to ask Madam Secretary to please call the roll.
Senator Boswell.
Aye.
Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Givens. Senator Bledsoe. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus. Senator Webb. Chair McDaniel.
Aye. Being 6 aye votes, no nay votes, the measure passes with favorable expression. We had previously heard testimony on House Bill 68, relating to motor vehicle license plates. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion on House Bill 68 by Senator Neal. Do I have a second? Second. Senator Bledsoe. All those, right, this, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Givens. Senator Bledsoe. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus. Senator Webb. Chair McDaniel.
Aye. Being 6 aye votes, no nay votes, the measure passes with favorable expression. At this time, we'll take up House Bill 323 from Representative Fraser Gordon and the members of the Fire Commission, or the International Association of Firefighters. Chair will entertain a motion on the bill. Senator Boswell, do I have a second? By Senator Neal. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Givens. Senator Bledsoe. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus. Senator Webb. Chair McDaniel.
Aye. Being 7 aye votes, no nay votes, the measure passes with favorable expression. I do want to back up to House Bill 68 related to license plates. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion for consent on House Bill 68. Senator Givens, second by Senator Bledsoe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it. It goes on consent. This time I would like to return to House Bill 323. Chair will entertain a motion for consent. Senator Givens, second by Senator Bledsoe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. Motion goes on consent. Thank you. Chair notes an aye vote for House Bill 8 and House Bill 68 from Senator Nemus. All right, last up, we will take up House Bill 264. This is the judicial branch budget. We do have a committee substitute. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion on the sub. So moved. By Senator Bledsoe, second by Senator Givens. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Motion's approved. Inside the judicial branch budget, Senate committee substitute, in year one, we spend $371 million. In year two, $379 million for the operations of the Court of Justice. A couple highlights that I would like to point out. In the first section, we do expand mental health to 10 sites to include Woodford, Bourbon, and Scott counties. We do mandate for pretrial hearings the utilization of video arraignment technology. Inside of the local facilities fund, we allocate $3.2 million in the first year and $8.2 million in the second year for additional operating and use allowance for 6 judicial centers authorized in the 2020 General Assembly and 2 judicial projects authorized in the 2022 General Assembly. Paragraph 7 there, we make an additional use allowance of $1.4 million in each fiscal year to support use allowance for previously authorized projects in Butler, Clinton, and Crittenden counties. We also make note in Part 2 of a salary increase for personnel commensurate with the salary increase across the rest of state government, which is 2.6 and 2.6% in each fiscal year. And also note in there that the Administrative Office of the Courts should take it ways to increase juror pay to impact timely case disposition, including juror attendance rates, and direct that the Finance and Administration Cabinet does work with them in such a way. And finally, we do carry forward language related to the Hardin County Judicial Center, ensuring that once the HVAC renovation is completed, that judicial center will be taken over by local operators. Are there any questions on the sub? Senator Gibbons.
Chairman, thank you for that explanation. Knowing that we have some members of the judicial branch here, would it be appropriate to invite them to the table for a question, if I could?
Absolutely. They said they were happy to entertain questions
Great.
earlier.
I'd be honored to have them if they would come to the table briefly. Do they have a copy of the sub with them?
They do, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Or Mr. President. We are honored today to have the Chief Justice of the Kentucky Supreme Court with us. Mr. Chief Justice, if you'd identify yourself and your guest and proceed.
Larry Van Meter, Chief Justice, and I have Katie Comstock, who's our AOC Director.
Thank you both for coming to the table for a brief conversation. And Chairman, this aligns with the presentation that we had some weeks ago in this committee on the juror pay question. It's a challenge. I'd like for them to speak briefly to the challenges of getting jurors to commit their time and talents to the jury process, how important it is, and any thoughts you have in regard to what we can do to appropriately find the balance.
Yeah, I'm going to let Katie, because I'm going to comment that the Chief Justice gets paid an extra $13.69 a day, which is a little bit more than a juror makes, $12.50 a day. Obviously, it's a problem because you don't want people to be jurors who have nothing better to do or, have just only time on their hands. You want intelligent people who are working, and basically most people in that category will have to may forego their compensation for that day. So I'll turn it and let Katie talk.
Well, I'd say it's one of the underpinnings of our branch to have jurors to be able to have and support the judicial branch sitting in trials and having your peer be the one making the decision, whether it's civil or criminal. Right now, what we're facing, and many judges will tell you, is it's a smaller and smaller group that show up every time. And that means you've got a smaller group of your peers to be able to present cases to. In addition, sometimes we have in counties where a juror will pay more for their parking than they will actually receive in compensation for the day. So not only are they losing pay, say if you work an hourly job, you're going to be outpaid for that day, but in addition, you are going to lose if you're having to pay for parking that's not even covered by the rate of pay you're receiving every day. So we value so much the citizens that come and do their civic duty to do it, but it is getting harder and harder to pull people to come. And we are so thankful for the people that do and really like to support them with a higher rate.
So obviously, judges have the ability, with respect to jurors who are summoned, to compel them to come in. But as one of my former colleagues, Judge Kevin Horn, who's now deceased, always used to say, it's a bad idea to arrest your voters. So
One brief follow-up, if I could, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. President.
While you're at the table, another question that's been on my mind some is the conversation around mental health court expansion. And for those of us that are not familiar with the mental health court model, share with us briefly how that works.
Well, I think the idea is that law enforcement, police officers have a lot of discretion about how, when they confront someone who is committing a violation of law, how to process that person, whether to arrest them, whether to maybe seek other means of support for them. So the idea is that the more you just put someone into the criminal justice system, who maybe that doesn't help them, but if you had a mental health court that would provide alternative resources other than incarceration, number one, it's a benefit to the community, it's a benefit to the person charged, but it's also a benefit to the Commonwealth because you aren't incarcerating them at that expense. You want to jump in?
I also see it similar to, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of drug court as well. Mental health court, we're seeing one of the drivers is a lot of people are self-medicating themselves. If they have mental health issues, they self-medicate. They either have a substance use disorder or others. The thought is if you can have the mental health court to address what those mental health court needs are, that essentially you can make a more productive member of society, and you're also not continuing on like a criminalization behavior because if you're addressing the root cause of what's driving it. And so really, it is exactly as the chief said, it's better for the community, and it's also saving people from having to go down that path.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Any other question? All right, seeing none, we adopted the sub already, correct? All right. Motion by Senator Mays Bledsoe. Do I have a second? By Senator Nemus. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Givens. Senator Bledsoe. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Webb. Chair McDaniel.
Aye. There being 8 aye votes, no nay votes, the measure passes with favorable expression. The chair will not entertain a motion for consent. Thank you, but the chair's not going to take a motion for consent on this one. I do appreciate it.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Chief Justice, Ms. Comstock, thank you for your time as always and your service. Very much. All right. Well, seeing no other business to come before the. Oh, Senator Webb needs to register to vote. I apologize. So Senator Webb casts an aye vote on House Bill 868 and 323. Yes. Senator Funky Fromeyer casts an aye vote on House Bills 868 and 323. Any other members needing to record votes before we stand adjourned?